So we just learned that Krai does have the worst luck imaginable, but for somehow he's just attractive to everyone he interacts with to the same amount that he makes enemies, and they just balance it all out. If you shake my hand, I'll kill you. Yo, no way. No way. Get out of here, Krai. This man has gone up against a god 2 times and is somehow gonna live. Imagine hitting the bong, casually being like, yeah, I'm here to battle. I'm here to tango. There's no way he's gonna navigate this again. Bro literally navigated death twice and came out on top. How did he defeat her 2 times in a row? No, not his shirt. Not his shirt, we need that. Not Carpy. Well, hey, at least he keeps his shirt. Bro fucking swindled the god. He got to keep his magical carpet. Just like loses them? Is that what we just learned? Yo, she's just a fucking idiot. She can't find them. Oh my god, this is wonderful. Absolutely insane. Got this armed video. Make sure you drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around here on Patreon. It's where you catch my full live reactions, as well as Grieving Soul nonsense and more, which also helps fund the channel and videos just like the one you're watching. So, we finally got our answer. Now, we don't know why it's like this, but we do get a confirmation on why Krai is the way he is. Similar to like a Marvel movie, there's 2 scenes after the credits, and one of which basically confirms, Krai, my boy, I've never seen anyone as unlucky as you. Pretty much saying there's probably no one more unlucky than Krai. I'm fully convinced that Krai might be the most unluckiest character of all time, but if he's so unlucky, how does he always stumble his way into success? And we finally have our answer to that question. So, Krai, for some reason, is attractive to everyone, regardless of gender. The men, the women, everyone loves him, but not quite. For as many people who love him, there's an equal number of people who hate him. And what does that mean? If Krai has 1,000 allies, Krai will have 1,000 enemies. And because of that, he naturally attracts as much that love him as hate him, and it balances out any chaos. So this man can walk into a god, because that's really what it is. We walked into a god's lair for the 2nd time. 1 time is enough to say you're not going to live. The 2nd time, he's so stupid, carefree, he can stumble out with a 2nd tail. I don't even need to see this man's eyes to know he had surprise Pikachu face go on here. He makes no sense. But you know what? If we never see more Grieving Soul, which I hope we do, I can leave satisfied knowing that this man most likely is going to end up with all goddamn tails from that. Because what's going to happen, I imagine, is when it gets to the last tail, because what is there, 13 tails? She's just going to hand it over. She's going to say, I'm fucking done. The way that the first time he survived this whole encounter, right, was he got on his hands and knees and he begged for forgiveness. And they're like, whatever. And apparently every time you defeat a wolf, you get a tail, right? This didn't work a 2nd time, so he just called her bluff. He's like, ah, yeah, of course, this, that, and she's like, just get the fuck out of my room. It's so funny because apparently every time he leaves this room, she has to give up a part of her power. And we learn later in the episode, he's already given a tail to one of his allies, and we see it's a pretty interesting predicament. Apparently, it's not as easy to go back from it otherwise, though she does look oddly adorable like this. So this is kind of hilarious. And not to mention, too, does this count as kidnapping? I can't tell because obviously she smuggled herself little Miss Tofu. So you can assume at some point he delivers her back to her homeland, which in return gains us a tail, right? Like, I don't know how they would write it, but I have to imagine it will be something like, if you want your daughter back, give me your tail. Now, will Krai say those words exactly? No, but that's probably how they'll be interpreted. Of course. You're threatening a loved one of mine, so I'll have to give you a tail. And he'll be like, how the fuck did I end up with another tail? It's funny, too. The king dead ass looks at Krai and says, listen, my boy, what do you think is the reason all this shit happened? He's like, well, we didn't have enough luck. You know what? My daughter here's the unluckiest son of a bitch I know. If only he realized that Krai's actually the unluckiest. So, can you please train her not to be so unlucky? Because anyone who looks at Krai probably thinks he has rabbit feet tattooed up his ass, and you might say, how does that make sense? Don't ask questions, is my answer to that. This whole fucking episode is probably one of the funniest things I've seen in the show, and I'd go as far to say episode 24 is the series' best episode to date. And it's really interesting because I thought the first half of this core was very enjoyable, but I preferred the first core. I was like, oh, it's, you know, I'm going to prefer the first half of this anime to the second half, but there's something that changed halfway through this core that just made it the best content I've seen of this series to date. And just the fact that Chris can look at him as the most valuable thing in his possession or in her possession, and he thinks, well, I'll probably feel the same because this man can read minds, right? So you can't lie to him, right? He'll read your mind, and what is your deepest valuable thing? It was fucking Carpy. A carpet meant more to him than she did. Now, I really thought what he was going to lose was his Hawaiian shirt. Now, that Hawaiian shirt came in clutch. It was a constant hit from the bong that kept him relaxed. I thought for sure he was losing the shirt off his back. So when they said that he was going to lose Carpy, I thought that's interesting because his whole thing this season was learning to ride this magic carpet. He fucking swindled them. He gave them a normal-ass carpet. If he comes back to this place, there's going to be AK-47s drawn on him. But somehow he's left now with 2 fucking tails and everyone's lives held together. Why is he this unlucky? You know, there's probably going to be a backstory at some point where he got cursed by something, but it doesn't change the fact that on his way out from being cursed, he fell into the puddle of luck. And now, no matter how many enemies target him, whether rightfully or not, he gains just as many allies. This show didn't get simpler as it went on. It didn't rely on 1 or 2 notes for Krai as a character. It somehow got funnier the more unlucky things became. This show was truly unlike anything I've seen out of the thousands of anime that I've consumed over the many, many years I've been doing this. Krai is a special level of stupidity. He would absolutely be in the special needs class, not because he's actually special needs, but somehow through pure laziness, he would end up in there, and then they'd realize, oh wait, no, actually, he's not special needs, he's just so gifted, we didn't realize, and then somehow he'd be at Harvard, and he'd say, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and he will graduate with honors. This man is his biggest op, and his biggest supporter all in one, and that's fucking amazing. I don't know, man. You can let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Could be the last one we ever see, could be just the last one for now, but if so, whatever. Best episode of Let This Grieving Soul Retire by far for me. Your thoughts? Drop a like, share, support, subscribe. If you're new around here, of course, Patreon's where you can catch my full live reactions to all these episodes and more, which also helps fund the channel, which is why I love to give video shoutouts to my patrons who make these videos possible. Alright, so today we got Jewel, Akado, James, Aris Kataras, Amy, Alcium, Ruben Philomura, Blue Wizard, and we also have Annoying Waffles. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you have a good one.